Can you give us a brief history of Gaza, if you could, for a second? Because I think people need to appreciate what Gaza actually is.
Okay, Gaza is, if I remember correctly, is not even the size of Manhattan. It's the most densely packed piece of real estate on the planet. We're talking about a couple of million people in a very, very small area. It was administered by Egypt for decades. And then in the 1967 Six-Day War, it became part of Israel. Unlike the West Bank, what Israelis call Judea and Samaria, it doesn't have real biblical significance. It was never emotionally and politically loaded. It was kind of no man's land. The Egyptians didn't want it. The Israelis didn't want it. The Palestinians had it. Kind of was drifting, wasn't being developed. Then in 2005-06, you had elections there. The Bush 43 administration, I thought, unwisely pushed elections, particularly the format of the election. So what happened was the Palestinian Authority, the more moderate Palestinians there and elsewhere, ran multiple candidates. They split the vote. The Hamas candidates won. They were much more disciplined. Hamas, as I think most viewers know, is not just the group that carried out the October 7th, 23 attacks, but in its charter is devoted to the elimination of a Jewish state, of the state of Israel. They did nothing with Gaza in their subsequent decades of running it after the elections, after a brief civil war with the Palestinian authorities. So it's just this part of the world where virtually every index of human development, it's lagging. It really is as underdeveloped as you can get, and a lot of this blame, is on the Palestinian leadership, Hamas itself. The Israelis have made difficult situation at times more difficult, particularly since October 7th. But that's where we are. And when you think about the future, at least until the last couple of days, the question was, what would be the relationship ultimately between Gaza and the West Bank? 2 million Palestinians in Gaza, roughly 3 million in the West Bank. Could you think about one Palestinian entity, maybe two, because their paths have been somewhat separate? The immediate question is, again, the ceasefire. We can talk about it, but essentially it's had its own increasingly separate history, and it's been one of real failure in terms of economics and human life.